Your heart is racing right now, not because anything is chasing you. You're probably sitting down, maybe scrolling, maybe half listening, but somewhere in your skull, a small almond-shaped structure is scanning the room like a predator could be behind you. It has been doing this since before you were born. It will keep doing it long after you forget this video exists. And the real answer for why is far stranger than you think. You were built for a world that no longer exists. Your body is a survival machine tuned for the savannah, not the subway. For millions of years, humans lived as prey as much as predators. Lions, leopards, hyenas, snakes in the grass you couldn't see until it was too late. The humans who survived long enough to have children were not the calmest ones. They were the jumpiest ones, the ones who flinched first and asked questions later. That flinch didn't disappear, it just changed targets. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades mapping exactly where that flinch lives. He found that a structure called the amygdala can trigger a fear response before your conscious brain even knows what it's reacting to. A shadow moves, a door slams, your body reacts in milliseconds. Your thinking brain catches up seconds later, sometimes just in time to feel embarrassed about jumping at nothing. This isn't a flaw, it's a feature built for a world where hesitation meant death. Think about that for a second. Your ancestors who paused to rationally assess whether the rustling in the bushes was probably just wind were disproportionately removed from the gene pool. The nervous ones survived. The relaxed ones more often didn't. So here you are, carrying their nervous system, their default setting, their alarm. But here's the strange part. The alarm never got the memo that the predators are mostly gone. Evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse has spent his career studying why natural selection left us with emotions that feel so uncomfortable. His answer is unsettling in its simplicity. Evolution doesn't optimize for happiness. It optimizes for survival and reproduction. A smoke detector that occasionally goes off when you're just cooking toast is still doing its job because the cost of a false alarm is nothing compared to the cost of missing an actual fire. Your fear system works the same way. It would rather embarrass you 1,000 times than let one real threat slip through. So it stays trigger happy forever, which means your brain is still running smoke detector logic in a world that mostly doesn't have fires anymore. You feel it in traffic when someone cuts you off and your whole body floods with heat before you've even processed what happened. You feel it in a work email that just says, "Can we talk?" And suddenly your chest tightens like you're about to be chased across a savannah. You feel it lying awake at 2 a.m., turning over a conversation from 6 hours ago, as if replaying it enough times might undo it. None of these are lions. Your body doesn't know the difference. Why not? Why hasn't evolution caught up? Because evolution doesn't work on the timescale of a single lifetime. It doesn't even work on the timescale of a few centuries. The threats around you changed in the blink of an eye, geologically speaking. Agriculture, cities, electric light, the internet, all of it arrived in what amounts to the last few seconds of the human story. Your genome hasn't had time to catch up. You are, quite literally, a Stone Age nervous system wearing a 21st century life like a costume that doesn't quite fit. This gets even stranger when you look at what actually triggers the ancient alarm today. Researcher Robert Sapolsky, who spent years studying stress in wild baboons, found something that should unsettle you a little. Zebras get stressed when a lion is actually chasing them. Then it's over. Their stress hormones spike. The chase ends one way or another, and their body returns to baseline. Humans are different. Humans can trigger that same lion chase stress response just by thinking about a bill that's due next week, or a conversation that might go badly tomorrow, or a mistake made 3 years ago that still replays at random. Zebras don't ruminate, you do. And every time you do, your body responds as if the lion is real, right now, in the room. That's the twist. It was never really about lions. It's about your brain's inability to tell the difference between a real physical threat and an imagined one. A snake in the grass and a scary thought both light up the same ancient circuitry. Your amygdala doesn't check whether the threat is metaphorical. It just presses the alarm. So what do you do with a smoke detector that can't tell toast from fire? You don't rip it out of the wall. That would be dangerous. Instead, You learn its patterns. You start noticing when it's misfiring. Researchers studying anxiety have found that simply naming what's happening in your body, out loud or even just internally, can dial the alarm down. Not eliminate it, dial it down, because part of your brain now knows the difference between I am in danger and I am uncomfortable, even if another part of your brain is still convinced there's a predator in the bushes. There's something oddly comforting in all of this, isn't there? The racing heart before a presentation, the dread before opening an email, the tightness in your chest during an argument that isn't even really about the argument. None of it means you're broken. It means your body is doing exactly what it was built to do, using tools built for a different world. You are not malfunctioning. You are ancient hardware running modern software, and sometimes the two don't speak the same language. Your ancestors needed to notice danger faster than they could think about it. That trait kept enough of them alive long enough to have children, who had children, who eventually had you. Every jump at a loud noise, every spike of anxiety before a hard conversation, every sleepless night spent replaying something small is an inheritance, not a curse. An inheritance from people who survived long enough to pass something on. Their alertness became your anxiety. Their caution became your overthinking. It's the same trait, wearing different clothes. Which brings us back to where we started. Your heart is still racing sometimes for no obvious reason. Not because anything is chasing you, but because, in a very real sense, something has been chasing your family line for millions of years, and your body has never stopped listening for its footsteps.